Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mayor Billy Nice. It's time for our River City Chat. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I know that many of you, most of you, very frustrated with what happened at our board meeting on the 7th related to our public works contract. And I want you to know that I am as frustrated as you are about that because, I had no idea that our board would not recognize the importance of trying to save money for the city as much as they know that we are in a real deficit here. Our budget is balanced, but at the same time, we have no leeway for any type of mistakes. And where we can save, we ought to be willing to do that. So I'm frustrated with that as well. And I've given a lot of thought to that because, I don't like to make decisions too hastily. I always like to kind of be thoughtful about, a decision I make, how I might deal with a situation like this. When I'm not agreeing with the board, how best to handle that. So I always want to be kind of careful and prayerful about, the decision that I make. So I always want to take my time. So I've done that. So just know that there's a plan in place to try to deal with this. And I want you to bear with me because, you elected me to lead this city. And I promise you that I'm going to do that, because, you trusted me because of my vision that I told you that I had for the city. I showed you what it was. We've been here for 4 years. You know what I can do and what I'm trying to do and where my heart is. And so I don't think I need to prove anything to anybody anymore. So I'm going to lead this city, and I need you to continue to support that. Let me just tell you how we got here. When I ran, back in 21, we talked about our city was broke. And nothing has changed. Our budget is balanced, but we're still broke. We don't have any extra money. When I got here, we were losing $300,000 a year just on water. And the administration before I got here in 2017, 2018, they decided to put all of the accounts into one account. Can you imagine? All the different monies we had coming in from different places were put into one account. That's called commingling funds. When you commingle funds, that is against the law. I don't even know how they got away with it, but they did it. And we've been trying to untangle all that since that time. And it's taken us 2 years, the first 2 years of my administration. We did not have a true budget. I hate to tell you that, but we did not have a true budget. The numbers we were working with were fake numbers. Wasn't even real. We didn't know that. But now we know it wasn't even real numbers because we didn't know. We finally got a consultants in here, 2 young ladies that really understood this process, and they figured it out. And that's when we found out that we was $2 million in the red. That's when we found out we was losing $300,000 a year in our water bill. And so I've been busting my tail off to try to get economic development in here so we can get some tax resources coming in here so we can give us some relief with that. And that's why we decided to bid this contract out. Outside of the fact that everybody's been complaining about public works, clear water, since I've been here. Before I got here, for over 10 years, some of the people on the board have been complaining about Clearwater and their lack of responsible in doing their job. Over 6 or 7 times I had people in my office from their corporate office where I had to tell them how unhappy I was with the performance of their employees. And they always promised it was going to get better, and it never did. And that's why I said, I'm going to bid this contract out. Because every time I would talk about a job they should be doing, they would say, well, man, it's not in the contract, because the previous administrator took that out. I didn't know what was in the contract, what was not in the contract. So that also prompted me to bid this thing out. But the real reason we bid it out is to get the lowest and the best price. Again, I'm trying to save money for the city. So if you bid it out, maybe you get a true picture of the work need to be done, how it's going to be done, and what it's going to cost us to get it done. I'm looking for the best and the lowest price I can get. And that's what happened. We put a good committee together, headed up by our engineering firm, They put a good RFP together, good professional people on that committee, and they recommended H2O because of their quality of work that they said they could do, and their price was cheaper. So let me just tell you what we evaluated them on, the criteria. And we're going to have this on the screen so you can see it. The criteria was, we want to know the qualification of their staff. Were they certified? What kind of experience they had? What kind of experience the employees had, but also what kind of experience the company has. What is your performance history? The staffing patterns, how many people you're going to have to do each one of these tasks? What is the work plan? How are we going to be to monitor the work being done? And the price. And the price has the highest percentage of rate attached to it. The rest of them was like 15%, 10%, 15%. But the price was 35% is what we gave the weight of that particular activity. What would it cost? Because that's what we're concerned about. We want you to do the work, but how much would it cost us to do this work? And the work that was to be done was Clearwater, water, sewage, natural gas, drainage. That's one category. Water, sewage, natural gas, drainage. What would it cost us for you to do this job? Clearwater said we could do that job for $2,023,299. H2O said we can do that work for $1,336,068. Utility billing, that's where you pay your water bill. To manage that utility, monitor the water that's coming in. Clearwater said we could do that job for $222,232. H2O said we can do that job for $307,968. The last category was streets, right-of-way, fleet, and the warehouse. Clearwater said we could do that job for $428,635. H2O said we can do that job for $5,772. $572,712. Again, H2O, $572,712. The bottom line is, for the work that we say we needed done, Clearwater said we could do, the total price would be $2,674,166. H2O says we could do that job for $2,216,748. The difference is $457,418. That is the difference between those two contracts. And our board voted to take the highest costs. Now, these are the guys that voted for that. I want you to see their name on the screen, and I ask you to help. I need you to help me call these guys. Call your elected officials, whether you live in their ward or not, and let them know how irresponsible it is for them to vote to accept a contract that we will lose $457,000 a year. And over a 5-year period of time, that's what normally the contract is, a 5-year period of time, that's over $2 million. That's over $2 million over a 5-year period of time that we will spend that you don't have to spend. And why in the world that our board, that say they care about our city, would accept a contract that we have to pay that much money? I don't think you would do that in your home. You wouldn't go out and buy an automobile that you got to pay 25 or 30% more than it would be if you got a lower price. I don't think anybody would do that if you had to go out and shop for yourself. So why would you do it for the city? We all say we care about the city. Well, if we care about the city, we ought to be one of the best, what's best for the city. Now they're saying that, these figures are not true. These figures are going to change. These figures are not going to change. These figures are locked in. The negotiation comes from within the body of the contract. How the work would be done. How much work would be done. The bottom line of this numbers are not going to change. If the dollar figure change, it's going to be because we need to buy equipment that we don't have. Annexation has nothing to do with this. Annexation has nothing to do with this. And what's wrong with sharing resources? We're sharing resources right now with our police department and the sheriff's department. What's wrong with sharing resources with other cities? If they have equipment that we can use that we don't have, and they're willing to let us use it, why not do that? And by the way, we don't have any resources to share, by the way. It's unfortunate, but we don't have any resources. So if there's any resource to share, it's always going to be coming from some other city. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there where we can share, but we're not there yet. So I don't know how anybody can bring up the fact that we're going to share resources as if we got a lot of stuff to share. We don't have it. I need your help, ladies and gentlemen. We need to call these men and let them know how irresponsible it is to accept a contract for a city that can't afford it. If you really care about your city, you want the best for your city. One of our board members said there's a lot of politics going on here. I don't know how to play politics. All I knew was how to tell the truth. I'm not a politician. I tell the truth. I have nothing to gain by lying to you about this. It's what's best for the city. If I'm playing politics by trying to get the lowest price for the city, then I'm playing politics. I need your help, Moss Point. We're going to get past this. I promise you. Have a good day.